Hey Tarosphere, it's Holly from Cape Cod Creatures, but today you can call me Garfield because I love lasagna and I fucking hate Mystic Mondays. This indie deck is only a quarter of the way finished and only $60. Shut up and take my money! I wish I could tell you it happened different, guys, but that's pretty much the way it went down. So, alright. Mystic Mondays, what can I say? So Mystic Mondays was a Kickstarter deck that came out at the beginning of the summer of 2017, or at least the campaign did, and she had all the majors finished and was like, trust me, I know what I'm creating. And the majors were gorgeous, right? They were wonderful, awesome looking pieces of art, and I said, well, $60 is a little steep, but I do love supporting indie artists. And just so you guys know, I've paid for every single deck that you've seen on my channel. I don't get decks for free. I had one deck discounted once. And it was just discounted. It wasn't even it was an okay discount. I'm not gonna cry about it because I'll take a discount, but I shell out full price for pretty much all the decks that you see. And I hope my husband's not watching. But anyway, yeah, so anyway, I backed her deck. It was $58 after shipping. It was $55 for the deck. I opted not to get the guidebook because then that would have been $75. And she said the deck was going to come out in September of 2018. And I think I backed it in May. So she had a ton of months to go ahead and make this deck. First things first, we get delays on shipping. They just delay, no real updates. People are asking her, like, so when's the deck coming out? When's the deck coming out? And she was like, oh, well, it's supposed to come out in September, and then that got pushed back to October, and then that got pushed back to November. And then we're all like, well, what's going on? What's the deal? And she's like, well, I'm going to ship the decks and the guidebooks all at the same time. And we're just like, well, why don't you just do it, and why don't you just do shipping in 2 waves? And she kind of dodged the question and like, no, it's just the facility says that they can only ship it all at once. And I was just like, well, that doesn't sound right because I've kickstarted plenty of products before, and that's never been an issue. So, you always have the option to do 2-wave shipping. I believe it costs the creator a little bit more, but not so much that other creators haven't done it, right? So we're waiting for the guidebook, and we're waiting, and then we get, we start seeing images of the deck starting to fly around in the stratosphere, and that is because she put a version of her deck in a subscription box, Goddess Provisions box. It came in, instead of coming in the 2-part clamshell, it came in a tuck box, and it didn't have the foil around the edges. But basically, the deck was released to people who didn't pledge for the Kickstarter before the people who did pledge for the Kickstarter got the deck. And then we also caught wind that she was releasing it into retail shops, and not just the Goddess Provisions box one, like the actual version of the deck. Meanwhile, telling us that she wasn't going to be shipping the decks or the books anytime soon. And then in December, we got notice that she caught a spelling error in the guidebook because she rushed it. She 100%, that's on her. She rushed it. She caught a spelling error in the guidebook, and that was going to delay things even further. So anybody that had ordered this deck for like a birthday or a special occasion, like they weren't even going to be able to get it in time for Christmas, which was ridiculous. And then I kind of put it in the back. Like I asked her like what was up online a couple of times, and she just kind of like she was like dodgy and gave some attitude. So I gave it right back. Honestly, I fell into that trap. Remember, if you're practicing Reiki, just for today, I will not anger. I failed that test a few times. I did. But anyway, yeah, so I was just kind of like, what's up? Like, can we get refunds? Like, at this point, I didn't even want the deck anymore. And she's like, nope, no refunds. So there's no refund. You just have to wait for your deck. So, like I was just kind of waiting and waiting. And then she released an email. She did an update on Kickstarter that was basically unapologetic about releasing the deck to people, like to people other than her pledgers, getting it in retail stores, putting it in a provisions, putting it in a subscription box, all the delays she was unapologetic for, not shipping out the deck to people who had waited for, who didn't want the guidebook, rushing the guidebook she was unapologetic for, and she was just kind of like, well, I'm a one-woman show and this and that. Meanwhile, too, she's running like free giveaways where you have to pay for the shipping for the giveaway, which was just like, what? I have never once ever heard of having to pay for shipping in a giveaway. And I will never, I promise you, here and now, I will never, ever, ever run a giveaway where you have to pay for shipping. That is dumb. But anyway, because that's not a giveaway. It's not a giveaway. Like that's a pay me for stuff away. But anyway, yeah, finally, I just kind of put it out of my head after we had like kind of a public fight on the Twitter about it, and I was just like, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna wait for this deck to come, and like maybe like the deck will be so amazing that it will negate all of the garbage that has come with this whole campaign. And then the deck came, and disappointingly enough, the deck is garbage. So the deck, my box isn't too dented. It's a little scratched on the cover. It's hard to see here. I'm going to do an overhead view while we flip through the deck. It does have 2 little bumps there, but she shipped the deck directly from the manufacturer. So she didn't do any quality controls. I think she had them ship her a handful of proofs, and then she shipped it directly from China. And I've had that before. There's really nothing wrong with doing that, but there's right way and wrong way to go about it. And a lot of creators will choose to have the deck shipped to them so they can check the decks. Like they pull random decks and then they check them for quality. And then they send them on to their customers. And you also have a batch sent to you beforehand to make sure that whatever finish that they're using on the cardstock will also hold up, and to make sure that the machines are cutting correctly and whatnot. But I don't think she had any of that done. And if she did, she didn't do a good enough job, or the factory like lied to her, in which case it's okay to tell us that. Like that's fine, but none of that was communicated. So when the deck arrived, it came in a bubble mailer. So this poor little thing had to be shipped overseas with no protection. So for those that ship overseas, bubble mailers don't cut it. They don't, absolutely 100% do not cut it. Especially like if I'm paying $60 for an indie deck, I want it to arrive flawless. I give a lot of leeway where indie creators are concerned. You know, a $30 deck, I'm not gonna worry too much about like whether or not the box is a little dented. A $60 deck though, you bet your ass I am going to be upset if the box arrives crumpled. But anyway, we're going to address some of the other issues with the deck because there are some pretty big issues here. So we're gonna go ahead and flip to an overhead view and continue this review. Okie dokie, so here we are with the infamous Mystic Mondays deck. As you can see, right down here, I've got 2 little divots in my deck box, which isn't so bad. And honestly, if that was the only thing wrong with it, this would be a much different review. So anyway, the deck has holographic foil, or sorry, the box has holographic foil on it, and it's got that nice matte feel. And it's got the holographic foil on the sides. That's actually pretty cool. And then again on this side, and it's got a little description on the back about the deck and how to download the app, and good vibes only, which more on that later. But actually, you know what? Let's do more on that now. So good vibes only apparently is true, because if you criticize her deck online, she like in any way, like be it constructive or whatever, she just is all over squelching your opinion, which is fine. I mean, I guess that's her social media, but I don't think that's how you get accurate feedback and stuff for your product. You know, like you can only go so far on, you know, doctoring your own public image, I suppose. But anyway, this is the deck itself. So the 2-part clamshell is actually finished pretty nicely on the inside. It's not too bad. There's a little bit of like weak construction here. I mean, it's not like horrible. You can totally live with it, but it's a little disjointed. Like I said, not too bad. And then you've got the deck, and it sits nicely in the box. I'm just gonna flip this deck out. So this is the deck that I was sent from the Kickstarter campaign. The cards are a little bendy, which is weird, but they have the holographic edging, the foil on the outside. That's cool, right? And then it's got the holographic, and it's kind of hard to see with this light. There we go. Holographic on the back. And then the front is, you know, it's supposed to be whatever, but you know, the images of the cards. The cardstock itself is pretty, like, it's usable. It's the right thickness. So, I mean, like, this had potential. This deck had so much potential, which I think is why I'm so mad about it. When I started looking through my deck, though, I was very disappointed to notice that, one, I don't know if you can kind of see here, the imprint from the front of the deck 100% comes through onto the back of, onto like the front of the card. So you've got like the little Mystic Mondays logo actually embossed the cards. But again, I can overlook that if that was the only thing wrong with this deck. So here we have the major arcana, and I don't know how many of these I will do, how many of the cards I will show you, but I'll do as many as I can to give you a feel. I just have to, my camera has a hard time focusing, and I kind of need that to see it. So this is the Fool. Very cute, right? The entire thing, can you see that at the bottom? Has scratches all over it, and spots where the varnish didn't quite have the opportunity to dry. So that is on all of my major arcana cards. The Magician, there's a spot on her coat right there. And at the bottom right there, this isn't dust. I've tried wiping it off gently with one of those cloths that's actually meant for smartphone screens, but it's there to stay. This is the High Priestess. You got a nice big spot of the varnish at the bottom. Let me see if I can get that to focus in for you. Yep. Big spot of the varnish at the bottom, and scratches all over this card. And this was out of the box. Aside from taking some pictures for Grace to show her the damage on her cards, oh, there's a nice big scratch right here. It's not even, that's not a dog hair. At least that's what I thought it was at first. And I was like, dog hair on my deck already? Like, it just came out of the box. But yeah, the whole arcana is like that. Oh, there's the spot. There's a spot in her hair. Again, it might be hard for you guys to see. I'm going to try and get the camera to focus. This is actually one of the rare cards in the arcana that wasn't too bad. The Emperor. He's got some spots up here and a couple of spots down here. The Hierophant. You can kind of see this one has them more on the edges. That's not dirt on the cards, you guys. There's a huge scratch that goes all the way down this card. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little easier if I tilt it maybe. Yeah, this is hard to... My camera's not the best, but there's a huge scratch that goes down here. And all this white stuff that you're seeing, that is just bad finish. That is scuffing on the varnish. This is supposed to be solid. It's not supposed to be like some sort of weird milky background. The Lovers has it all right down here. And again, just scratches all over. Some of the other ones that really had it pretty bad. This one is like one of the worst ones. You can see, let me see if I can get it to focus for you. So you can see there's scratches there. And the top, like these aren't extra little spotlights. Those are actual imperfections in the varnish. It's all right up here. I'm sorry for the blurriness, you guys. This camera is really, I'm actually, if anybody has any suggestions for new camera, that would be great because I'm on the lookout for one. But yeah, those are all imperfections in the varnish. Let's see. This is the world. This one was cute too, and just same thing. Judgment, all right there. That's not dust. That's, again, these are imperfections. That's not supposed to be extra graphics in the sky. Those are all scratches in bad varnish. So basically my entire major arcana, the death card actually has a really good picture of one of the scratches that came on, like all down, another one where there's a scratch all down the right hand side of this card. I don't know, let me see if I can get it to focus for you. So yeah, it's all down the right hand side of the card. I don't know if you can see that, but that is not a reflection, that is a scratch. And again, with the really cloudy, nasty varnish all over this. And then, but I mean, like, still, the imagery is really cute. Like, look, the Justice card. But again, that's not stars in the background. That is just bad varnish. It's all right over here. The Devil didn't come out too bad. She's got some scratches right here, and she's got some scratches in her hair. Again, hard to see because of the video camera. I wish I had a better camera, I really do. There's some right here on the mountain. I don't know if you can see that. The Sun card. Oh, that one was disappointing. So it's right down by the title, so I can get it to focus for you. But here's all that horrible varnish. A huge scratch right there. A huge scratch right down there. And again, nasty varnish up by the sun. Just, it's not a good experience. Opening, like, you have a deck that you wait so long for and you put up with so much. Oh, the Hermit. Look at all that on there. So yeah, you open up a deck like hoping for an amazing experience, and it comes all scratched up. My Suit of Cups is pretty much the same way. In some ways, it's like even more scratched up on some of the cards. So this one, not too bad. This one has scratches all down the bottom. It's a little hard to see, but this one is actually really dinged up. That's not too hard to see. Like, all of those are just, that's all scratches right across the card. It digs like right in. So that was pretty awful. And like I said, that's my entire Suit of Cups. Let's see if I can get to show you the scratches in this one too. Oh, it's not gonna focus. But yeah, I try to cut out the parts where I'm like trying to get the cards to focus for you. Look, more of that horrible varnish and a nice big scratch on that. I know this isn't going to be like my best video, you guys, but I have no other way to really show you just how horrible this deck came out. And then even if we just like ignore the scratching, which is really bad, like it's really bad on like all of these cards. My Knight, he's all scratched up on the bottom. I don't know if you can see those, but it goes like, it swoops right across his feet, his poor feet. Yeah, see. But yeah, on top of that, some of the cards are like really lazy. I found a lot of those lazy cards were in the Wands suits. So the aces are what they are. The 3 is not like super amazing. The 5 is not super amazing, but the 4 of Wands I thought was just really lazy. The Five of Wands isn't like that awesome either, honestly. When you compare it with some of the others, like the Six of Wands, it's a little more complex, right? The Eight of Wands, some of these cards feel rushed, is what I'm trying to say. So, I don't know. I just think that, again, like for somebody that had as much time as she had with what she claims to be as much experience as she has making stuff for Kickstarter, I think that this deck could have been better. Like that one is just, I hate that one. It's better quality, better customer service all around and whatnot. So anyway, that's pretty much, I'm like kind of just over it, honestly. So that is my deck. Oh, and then I get to show you the backs because that is really fun. So the backs of the cards are the same scratches. Like there's a scratch at the bottom, but some of them, let me see if I can find a couple of good ones. There's a little up at the top corner, but some of them have really nasty. There's a little bit right on that one. Some of them are really nastily scuffed up. So here are a pile of some of the choice backs of the cards. This one has a spot right up here. I don't know if you can really see that too much. This one has a spot right there. This one has some spots all right down here. This one, I forgot where the spot on that one. I think it's right there. It's a little hard to see in this light. But yeah, there's a spot right there. Let me see if I can get it to focus more in for you. But yeah, there's a spot right there on there. That one's got scratches. This one has some good ones. So here, all over this back, here's a spot right here. The varnish actually feels sticky on this one. There's a spot right there. And all across the top, I don't know if you can see those scuffs. This one's got it all right there. I mean, I don't even need to really focus or adjust this one for you. It's like all over the back of that card. You can see it right on that one. This one's really awful. And fun fact, most of these are major arcana, so, you know, good luck not consciously picking those out of a deck. Big scratch right down the side. This one's my favorite. Look what the holographic foil didn't even finish stamping into the card on top of being scuffed up. Right here we have some more scuffies, more scuffies, more scuffs. I mean, this deck is just a mess, honestly. So I contacted Grace to be like, hey, this deck is a mess. I waited for forever for it, and when it finally came, after all the rigmarole, you sent me a deck that is complete and absolute mess. So she said, okay, well, I'm going to send you a return label, and I'm going to send you a new deck. And here I was thinking, oh my goodness, this must be from a different printer, because there's no way she would send me a deck with the same issues. There's just no way, right? There's no why on earth. And I said, hey, could you maybe check through this deck? So this one, this one came in a plastic wrap, so I could tell nobody had opened it or looked at it. This one was unwrapped. And I said, check this deck for shenanigans, could you? Because if I get another deck that's a piece of shit, I'm going to be really unhappy. Like, for real. So, and I had actually posted pictures of some of the scratches on Instagram, and she asked me to take them down. So, she sent me a deck that's got the same issues. Woohoo! I only pulled a handful of cards from the second deck because I'm sure you guys don't want to see a flip through of yet another piece of shit deck. But just to show you that it's got the same issues, here are some choice backs. I didn't look for any missing holographic foil in this one yet, but it's all scuffed up at the bottom right there. And oh look, some scratches and scuffs right there. And here's another one, scratches. And there's like a nice divot taken out of the card right there. And Here is the tower. Look at that. Scratched up and ridiculous. That's not dust, you guys. That is bad varnish. Bad varnish. And I think the thing that's most ridiculous is this is the deck that got her stamp of approval when I asked her to send, like, I asked her to personally check the deck. This has like some sort of weird scratch or something stuck in the varnish. Here's a scratch up in the corner and some more scratches down in this corner. This one, same thing. There it is, like some nastiness. That's not a card image. That's bad varnish. Oh, and it's down on the corner of the card too. Again, a little hard to see, but you can see the pock marking well enough to know that in real life, this is just like the worst. Some bad varnish right there and right up here on this card. Oh, and again, you can see the image from the front of the cards just got from the back of the cards gets embossed into the front of the cards. This one's got bad varnish right there, right up at the peak of the mountain. Again, a little hard to see, but, and then here's a nice, right down the middle of the road, right there. Awesome. So those are just a small handful of the horrible cards from the second deck that she sent me. And I think the biggest kick in the face with this one is I asked her to check the deck. I asked her to check it. So if she did indeed check this deck, which I think she did, this is acceptable quality to her for a $60 deck. For a $55 plus shipping deck, this is 100% acceptable quality. She is happy with the way that this product went out. And I can't even believe that she would, I mean, at that point, why wouldn't she just say something like, oh, well, I'm just going to wait until I get decks from a new printer because she said she was sourcing one. And I can't even. I am so unhappy. Anyway, let's get back to looking at my beautiful mug. So yeah. Oh, I almost forgot to mention too, on the new deck, I don't know if you can see it, but the corner is crumpled. Isn't that fun? Just discovered that. Like I opened this deck, looked at it real quick, and then was just super disappointed with the quality. And I kind of, again, like a second round of disappointment. And I just kind of went into a little bit of hibernation because I just couldn't. I cannot believe. I cannot believe it. I should believe it because it's happening to me. I am trapped in a fucking deck nightmare of unbelievable proportions. Did I mention she sent a note with the second deck that said that the issue is a setback and is being fixed? But here's another crappy deck PS. Here's the deck. Here we know this deck has this issue, this horrible varnish issue. Which, by the way, if you use it, PPS, don't actually use the deck, because if you use the deck, it's just gonna get all fucked up anyway because the varnish is bad, and that's why the scratches are there to begin with. So just don't even look at it, because if you look at it, it'll scuff. Just if you could just take your deck and put it in a box akin to, like, you know, the Ark of the Covenant. Like, if you can just get Indiana Jones to ship you the Ark of the fucking Covenant so you can stick your deck in that, and then maybe don't open it because it might actually melt your face off. If you look at this deck, that's how bad it is. It's going to melt your face, and that's why it belongs in the Ark. And holy shit, like, I just cannot believe, like, I cannot believe, Grace, this is a disgrace. That's a terrible pun. You just made me make a horrible pun, Grace. I just can't even. Like, I can't even. And she's okay with this. And now, kitties, this deck that I've got 2 decks, I paid $60. You know what? I'm not sending back the other deck. I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going to try and sell one of these decks for $30 because this deck is maybe worth 20. Like, at most, like, if this deck was done the right way from an indie creator and whatnot, I would pay $20. Like, hey, my deck is a piece of shit. It came out wrong, and I'm working on it. Would you like bad copies for $20? I'd be like, yeah, you know what, indie deck creator? I feel that feel. I will totally buy your deck for $20. And I totally would. I am that kind of guy. But, like, I don't want to pay $60 for a deck that I can't fucking use. I can't use it. Not only are the cards marked in such a way that you would consciously choose a card, like, you can't, the whole point of having backs that aren't scuffed or ruined is so that way you can pick out your decks and not, you can pick out your cards and not know what card you're fucking picking out from the deck. Because if that's like, I would pick like, you know, the like gonna eat a lot of fucking food and make a lot of money card every time. Every time I would pick it. But like I can't. I can't. It's just so frustrating, you guys. It's so frustrating. But anyway, I found out today, and the whole reason I'm filming this today and now, her deck is going mass market. Awesome! I've had the deck for, what is today? March? So I got it mid-March. I got the deck mid-January. My replacement finally came, I think I want to say around mid-January I received it. And I've had the deck for a month and a half. And it's already going mass market. Awesome. Awesome, Grace. What a wonderful, terrific decision you have made for your customers. I can't even. Like, I guess I wish her all the luck in the fucking world, but I will never, ever, ever, ever back another thing by her. At least not, like, I don't even think I would do mass market. Like, the sad thing is, this deck, I love 90% of the images in it. This could be, except for this one. This is a fucking lazy card. And this is a lazy ass card. And this is a little lazy too. Like, some of them are lazy, but some of these images are fantastic. Like, I would use this deck to read with all the time. This is Grown Up Lisa Frank. I love this one. Like, look how beautiful that is. I would totally read with this deck. I would photograph the shit out of it. I love, like, it's a great, like, I love the art. I'm not going to take away from the fact that she is a talented graphic artist, but like, I'm never going to back anything she ever does ever again, ever. Never, ever, ever. Because this was just such a horrible experience. This was just one of the worst experiences I've ever had on Kickstarter. And really, I feel bad for the people that decided to do to have this be their first Kickstarter. I know this was a lot of people's first Kickstarter, and they will never do another one again because of the experience they had with this deck, which is sad because it's a wonderful way for indie creators to get their product out into the world. And I have yet to really have a second bad experience. I have one right now that's a little frustrating because I'm waiting for my deck, and it was released a while ago. But I also ordered custom art with it. So that's and the only other, I just wish she had a little bit better communication as far as that's concerned. But you know, again, this was horrible. This was a horrible experience. I wish I had known that it was going to be going to mass market, because I would have waited, and then I probably would have avoided the whole bad blood, whatever. But I will never support this woman as an artist ever again. And I think that is the first time in the history of this channel, and probably in the history of my life, that I have ever said anything like that. So if you like Mystic Mondays, you guys, you do you. But if you were looking at getting this deck and you want a copy of it that might actually live up to your expectations, I wouldn't buy from her directly. I wouldn't buy any of the decks that she's got going on. And like, I'm sorry, shop owners. I am a retail shop owner too, but I don't know how in good conscience you could sell this product to your customers, because it's just garbage. It's a garbage product. It's good for maybe holding stuff down at this point. So anyway, that's my review. It's not a good one, and I don't know that I can ever give this product a good review. I'm just so disappointed. But anyway, that's it, and I will see you guys later. Bye, Tarosphere.